I played this game for about 20 hours at least, and I did not parry once. I think I was midway through chapter 2 after the big thing happened. I did not want to learn the timing, and I thought parries were unnecessary. I don't have too many Souls-like games under my belt, and QTEs are my least favorite game mechanic in video games. I was progressing fine, just with dodging, and then I hit a wall. I encountered enemies in the game where a parry was not optional. If you did not do a parry, you would be in an endless loop of defending and dodging. They did not even let me fight back. The only way to do any damage is through a parry counter. So if you're struggling with the timing, or have been avoiding learning it just like I did, I want to walk you through what worked for me. Hopefully after learning from this video, you will save hours from trial and error hell. I know there's plenty of videos out there on how to parry, but the many guides neglect one of the most important tells of them all. Something that's littered in the comments, but not directly addressed. It helped so many, and I can't wait to share it. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 gives you clues in several different ways of when to parry, and some are a bit less obvious than others. So if you want to skip the video and you just wanted to know the clues, here they are for your short attention span king. We got the sound effect, the perfect dodge, the name of the moves, and the one clue that's being overlooked, the camera zoom. That's it. Thanks for watching, and leave a like for the algo on your way out, as a thank you for not wasting your time. For those of you sticking around, we will go through each clue and explain what it is and how to actually pull it off. Every chapter is timestamped, so skip around if it seems too obvious for you. Why the parry is a shortcut. Let's talk about if a parry is actually worth learning. I thought the parry was just this extra mechanic for tryhards to show you've mastered the game. Dodging just felt safer. Why bother parrying? The window for error for dodging was way more forgiving, and the risk is way too great. Many enemies can one-shot you, so if your timing is off even by a millisecond, it is over and you have to try all over again from the beginning. So I understand where you're coming from if you don't want to parry. I was in those shoes. So like I said in the intro, I stayed in my comfort zone of only dodging until the game forced me out of it. Even if I tried avoiding the mandatory parry enemies, my fights were taking forever. I'd dodge every attack, land a couple of hits, take a few on the chin, my team would go down, I'd waste time reviving, and the fight would go on until I eventually wore them down and I beat them through resilience and patience. Then one time I just went for it. I just tried parrying. So I finally parried and bam, it hit me. I realized a parry is not an optional flex. It is a shortcut. The damage the counter parry did was insane. Sure, parrying is a lot harder to pull off than dodging, but the trade-off is so worth it. A parry, if you get it right, will not only allow you attack twice as much, your turn and their turn, but if you have the right picto and build, you will do ludicrous damage. Like 10 times the damage of your strongest hit, sometimes 20 times the damage, sometimes more. So if your hits end up being 10 times as strong, that means the fight will be over 10 times faster. A half an hour fight will last only a few minutes. A successful parry will give you insane counterattack damage, but it also can give you AP, and the higher your AP, the better moves you can pull off. You can even get certain pictos that heal you if you land a parry. So now that we got the benefits of the parry out of the way, let's finally focus on the actual dodging clues of when to do.
Danger.
Sound effects. Okay, let's start with one of the most talked about clues and might be one of the most obvious ones, especially if you've played this game with headphones on. The sound effect. When enemies attack in Expedition 33, they almost always let out a distinct sound effect, an audio clue, right before their blow connects. It's different for every character, but once you can hear it, you can literally dodge and parry blindfolded. This could be a weapon whoosh, a scream, a grunt. These sound effects are often tied directly to the attack's hit frame, meaning when you hear the tail end of that sound effect, that is your parry window. Instead of just talking about it, let's see a few examples of it in action. The reason this is so efficient is because sound clues and cues are much less noisy than visual clues. Unlike the animation windups or particle effects, which can vary between enemies, the audio and sound effects in Expedition 33 are a tad over-exaggerated to give you a fighting chance. These sound effects are a bit louder than they should be, and they cut through the mix really nicely. And since the parries have generous active frames, you don't have to react instantly. You just have to get used to that sound and confidently react the moment the sound peaks. So it's like the end of the sound effect. Now, some guides will tell you to turn off the music completely so you can hear these clues better. But I will say never. If there ever was a game where the music should never be touched, it is this game. It is a cardinal sin, like touching a man's radio when he's driving. You can turn it down 10%, I'll allow that, but do not turn off the music in this game just to get better. Just play with your headphones on and start focusing on what the sound is, what the rhythm is, and react accordingly. Your eyes might betray you, but your ears will be more dependable. So just press the parry button after that sound cue swells, and it will start feeling like a dance. Once you know what to look for, you'll start feeling a lot more confident. Okay, this one might be a bit too obvious, but we have to still talk about it because after all, it is a clue. A clue is a clue. It's something we all use if we have eyes, but we don't really talk about it. And that clue is the title that flashes across the screen when they're about to do a move. So when Cruller smashes the ground, you know you're going to have to jump. When the mime performs a hand-to-hand combo, you know it's going to be 1, 2, take a break, and 3. It would be really hard if the moves you are parrying were totally random. But the truth is, they're not. Every enemy is limited to about 3 or 4 moves. Some more, some less. So the mime, if it's not doing a hand-to-hand combo, it's probably going to do a strange combo. But if you fought them a few times, it becomes really obvious what their movesets are. This is basically an early warning system. So instead of wondering if this next one needs a dodge or a jump, you have a consistent reference point. The game is even generous enough to put numbers in the title sometimes. So it will give you clues as to whether this is a 3-hit combo or a 5-hit combo. Or if you need to do a gradient counter. Like, don't ignore the text. Before the enemy even attacks, it's very obvious bold print. It telegraphs what the enemy will do. It also helps avoid false positives or feints. Sometimes the animation between 2 moves is very similar. They look almost the same when they're starting, but the parry window is very different. So if you were only studying the animation, you might get fooled, but the name just gives it away. The name isn't just a cool detail, it's the anchor for learning the rhythm, timing, and the danger level of every single attack that's thrown at you. So this alone, parried with the sound effect cues, will be enough to get you through most of the game. Zoom, zoom. Okay, here is the cream of the pie here. This is what you clicked for. Every guide I've seen glazes this game, but glazes right past this obvious clue. In every comment section, all the fans are talking about this. The camera zoom. Mention the camera zoom. So this one's for all the fans who noticed this. This might be the most obvious clue, but also the most overlooked clue. The camera zooms very obviously before a big attack. But in the heat of the moment, you're memorizing movesets. You're listening to sound effects. You might be overwhelmed. So this goes under the radar. It's subtle, but once you notice it, it's really hard to unsee. Just before an enemy launches a heavy attack, the camera slightly or dramatically recenters, zooms out, zooms in, drawing all the focus inward. Like the game is subconsciously telling you, hey, pay attention. This is when it's going to happen. It's like watching an action movie or professional wrestling. It's a camera flare that makes the hit look like it hit harder than it did. But to us, it's a giant clue. It's not just cinematic and impactful for drama, it's functional. The zoom out and in creates a visual pause, tightening the frame, almost slowing the moment down and giving your brain a chance to prepare. You're not reacting purely on the enemy's hands or movement, you're reacting to what the entire screen is doing. Again, just look at the gameplay right now. It's a lot easier to notice it when someone else is playing. Just shift your eyes away from the action and look at any corner of the screen. Here, I'll even slow it down. You can see just how much the camera zooms. Like, it's really dramatic, but we don't notice it usually. If you combine this with the move's name and the sound effects, suddenly your chances of parrying have increased dramatically. Or at least dodging at the right time. Speaking of dodging, The perfect dodge. Let's go back to the beginning. Remember how I said I got through a large chunk of this game by avoiding the parry and just using dodge instead? You may have realized that there are two dodges. If you get your timing just right, you'll get an on-screen prompt that says perfect dodge. This is really good news. That dodge window is pretty generous, but that perfect dodge window is a bit less forgiving. You have to get it perfect. You know that because certain pictos will only reward you if you get a perfect dodge. So if you play the game and can nail a perfect dodge every time, I got good news for you. The perfect dodge window is exactly the same as the parry window. So if you can nail a perfect dodge confidently every time, all you have to do is press a different button. And suddenly you've got all the perks of a parry. You may have not known, but you're already doing it. You already have figured out the timing. It's all about dodging at the last second. This is the biggest training wheels in the game when it comes to parrying. It's huge for players trying to transition from playing reactively through dodging to playing proactively through parrying. Remember how we talked about the risk reward of the parry and how it was so scary? Well, this is our little training ground. If you miss a parry, you can get one-shotted. You die instantly sometimes. But in here, while we're dodging, if you miss a perfect dodge, you just default to a regular dodge. You still avoid the damage. So you can practice the timing with every single enemy and attack without the stress of risking it all. It's like the game is giving you a soft checkpoint for your muscle memory. The reality is you will still be dodging late game, even if you know how to perfectly parry most of the time. Learning when to dodge versus when to parry is part of the high-level decision-making that makes this game so rewarding. In order to do a counter, sometimes you have to dodge every hit of a huge combo. So you're more likely to dodge to not risk it, and only parry when you're super confident. Watch that weapon. This one seems obvious and I was not even going to include it, and it really should have been one of the first ones, but let's talk about it because again, a clue is a clue. Watch the weapon and not the windup. Instinctively, we want to parry as soon as an enemy lifts their weapon and are about to hit you. But a lot of the times, the enemy fakes it through a delay and it will catch you off guard. The basic advice is to only react when the weapon comes down. Just watch for that moment that the hit is coming towards you. Many bosses will raise a weapon and pause dramatically, waiting to catch you as you're coming back from the dodge. Catch you on the back foot, as they say. This is called a feint. The moment to act is when the animation shifts from a pose to a follow-through. Underneath it all, Expedition 33 has layers of a rhythm game, which is not surprising since they put so much effort into the music and audio aspects. So you can practice some enemy patterns by just doing counts in your head. Ignore the enemy's body and just track the tip of their weapon and count the rhythm. 1, 2, hit. 1, 2, 3, hit. Let yourself even be hit a few times on purpose to see exactly when the strike will land. With all the other clues in the video, this should happen a lot less, and all the guesswork should be taken out by now. Chaos declared. So there you go, quite a few clues as to when to exactly parry. Hope this video has given you some confidence to finally get into the habit of trying that high risk, high reward world of the parry. Remember that you can stay with the perfect dodges as long as you want until you're absolutely ready and confident to try a parry. This is an amazing game and most likely the game of the year. But the timing and difficulty of the parry in this game turned off a lot of gamers. People who love traditional JRPGs wanted turn-based combat only and hated the parry. People who love high action games hated the turn-based combat. But the game still hit the spot for people on both ends of the aisle. You're not meant to memorize every single random move and its timing, or just get good through trial and error. This game wants you to see that parry window. It offers you many clues, layered clues. You got reading, seeing, hearing, and even touching, and the camera. In an era where hard but fair is a tagline, Expedition 33 raises the bar. It challenges you, but communicates with you. Not with button prompts or hand-holding, except when to jump, but with clarity, rhythm, and multi-sensory feedback. So if you've been struggling with parries, it's not because you're bad. It's probably because you didn't know where to look. So hope this video helped you get more confident about trying parries. So go out there and do the best you can. Not for me, but for those that come after. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, be a friend and I'll see you again.